Good afternoon. Thank you very much. The good thing about me today is I'm not doing a presentation. So we'll be short, but hopefully informative. One of the things that I noticed as we went through the panel is that I think I'm the only actual investor in Crimea today, on this panel at least. I'm one of the biggest taxpayers in Crimea, and I will say this. From my standpoint, Crimea has been a very receptive and very useful environment to do business in. From my standpoint, we are spending an enormous amount of time and effort expanding our existing business, which is predominantly in the vodka production. And because of my experience, today we will announce a significant infrastructure development into the region. Over the last 2 years since we've owned the business, I and my colleagues have been looking very closely at areas in which we can enhance our business and opportunities that we can use and see to exploit our position. And of course, one of the great things about Crimea, and I guess most of the countries around the Black Sea, is many people will approach investment here in a singular way. They'll build a hotel, they'll build a small farm, they will invest into micro projects. One of the real problems that we have, or I think that Crimea has, is a lack of master planning. Understanding that you can build a hotel, but if you don't have sewage works, electricity networks, and all the important things that go to support those investments, frankly, you'll always have basically a substandard investment. So one of the things that we're looking at is how to enhance, how to develop the actual infrastructure environment of this country, or this region specifically. Our project breaks down into 3 different components. We're looking to invest over $1.5 billion over the next 10 years. And coming on to my colleague from Germany, one of the key issues that we have is if we're investing over 10 years, well, we have to know that the dollar that goes in is a dollar that in all reality should come back out again. What do I mean by that? That means that the government should be stable, the legal system should be addressed, and the rights of investors, particularly foreign investors, should be respected. Many of you, I guess, will know that we as a vodka company have had issues recently. The reality is we have absolute faith that those will be resolved. But the process of getting those issues resolved is unfortunately damaging to the business, it's damaging to our creditors, but fundamentally it's damaging to the actual region in which we invest. What is the project that we're investing in? Well, it breaks down into 3 components. We're looking, of course, at a tourism component. The idea that at the current time Yalta is the only focus for tourism or high-end tourism, I think is wrong. I think there is enormous opportunity to expand. The reality is Crimea has an enormous amount of sun, it has enormous natural beauty, and frankly, that is currently underexploited. And of course, if one is building hotels, one's building leisure facilities, one has to build the infrastructure and support that goes with it. And I know a number of ministries are doing very sterling work in terms of developing those areas, but more needs to be done and more investment needs to be attracted. In addition, one of the things that we've noticed through our conversations has been that people that want to come and be tourists in Crimea want the Crimean experience. They remember a time when they were children, when they would come here, go to lagers, and all the good positive things that Crimea enshrines. Good ecology, good food, good fun. Of course, from our standpoint, that means utilizing local produce, developing local agriculture industry, but not just the ability to grow vegetables, fruits from the ground, but more importantly, provide an infrastructure, a framework to get that produce from the field into the shop or the table at the end. That means warehousing, specialist infrastructure, even road development in many areas of Crimea. Of course, Crimea has another opportunity, which is basically industrial. There are a number of businesses which need closer supply chains. So from our standpoint, that means we buy bottles. We buy 180 million of them every year. So, needless to say, we're going to build a glass factory. Why? Because actually shortening our supply chain, as Kraft would of course know, is absolutely essential to profitability and opportunity. I think the final key issue that we're looking at is how to get tourists, how to get visitors here. And it would seem to me, and many of you would know this, having probably flown into Simferopol last night, or maybe Sebastopol, that the airport currently does not help the development of Crimea. It doesn't. The taxi journeys are long. Unfortunately, you can't currently have low-cost airlines, and all of these things prohibit the development of Crimea itself. So from my standpoint, I guess I'm very excited about the next 10 years, but it is going to be 10 years. And at the moment, the reality is, when I look at the opportunity here, I think it's incredibly exciting. But we just need to have a stable environment to invest that sort of money.